Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Victory Drive. So this episode is going to be a little bit different than usual. It's going to be like a single shot series episode. Basically, what it boils down to is I saw some shit online that I didn't really care for too much. So I really wanted to bring that up and I guess talk about it a little bit. I don't really have anyone to talk about it with, so it's just going to be me kind of sitting here ranting about something like a very an issue that really I guess bothers me, and something that I think we need to fix as, Second Amendment advocates and hunters and all that stuff. So there's that. It's just a little bit different. So basically I'll just tell you right now. It's about land grabbing Republicans and gun grabbing Democrats. So to each their own, it's like you get one or the other. So I'm just going to kind of discuss that topic because that's what popped up. So that's that. If you aren't interested in that kind of stuff, then sorry, tune back in next week. I'm going to start doing regular episodes again. But this is kind of like my first foray into like a little bit of investigative journalism. I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm not like an investigative journalist, but it's just something that I do feel very strongly about, and I'm sure at least some of you out there do too. So with all that said, we'll do a season update real quick. It is November 12th now, so I don't know. I still haven't killed anything. I've had some good hunts and some really struggling hunts. Like this year has just been really, really hit or miss. Like, I don't know. I'm just really not finding my groove with this longbow stuff, but it's still interesting. It's fun, getting out there and seeing some nice deer, and missing out, like not having opportunities like quite close enough, or they're moving through some brush with a doe or whatever it is. It just seems like whatever can go wrong kind of just does go wrong, or it's like I'm getting close but not close enough kind of deal. But that is the thing that drew me to the longbow. I knew it was going to be tough, and I know I have to get really close. Like you don't have the effective range of a compound, so you can't just kind of sit back on a field edge necessarily in a lot of places and, bomb one out there at 40, 50 yards and kill deer. You just can't do that with the longbow. So you got to get tight. You got to hunt tight cover, and you got to get tight. And unfortunately, hunting tight cover a lot of times means you're not seeing a whole lot. But when you do see them, they're usually pretty close. When I say usually, I mean they can be just outside of range, which has been what's been happening to me. But I will say I had, one shot opportunity I already told you guys about, and then I had another close encounter yesterday or 2 days ago, and then one yesterday. So getting close, just not quite close enough, but we'll see what happens. Still got to pound it out. It's only the 12th, so we'll see. We still got quite a bit of season left. Then fortunately for me, I have some good gun tags coming up, and I'm really excited about that. I love bow hunting. Bow hunting is a lot of fun, and it's a good time and everything else, but I really, really like shooting stuff with guns as well. So got some gun tags coming up really soon here in December. I have, Iowa and Kansas. So we'll see how this goes. Very excited for it. Yeah, that's pretty much about it there. Yeah. All right, cool. Sounds good. Make sure you guys go check out Grizzly Coolers. Check them out. They're good stuff. They make great coolers, great products, great apparel, and great, drinkware. Yeah, drinkware. The drinkware rules. So check out Grizzly Coolers and check out some of their stuff. Use code WCB at checkout to save some coin. All right, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get on to the episode. Hopefully I can keep my thoughts in order, at least enough to make it sound not stupid. All right. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate you. Hello, everybody. Like I said in the intro, this is not your normal episode. This is going to be a heavily politics-centered episode, unfortunately. It's just kind of one of those things, being a staunch Second Amendment advocate and, a hunter and all these other things. Unfortunately, a lot of times the conversation crosses political lines, if you will. Like we get into the politics subject a little bit more than maybe other people. I don't know. I shouldn't even say that because politics is everywhere. Everyone is talking politics. It does. Unfortunately, it affects all of our lives a lot, like political decisions and our politicians that we supposedly vote into office. It does really affect our everyday life a hell of a lot more than it actually should. Obviously, everybody knows that politicians are cunts and shouldn't be trusted. But at the end of the day, it does affect us. So it's something that we need to talk about. And living in America with under a supposedly democracy, kind of government, we got to talk about this stuff because supposedly it sounds like we can change all this at the voter booths. It's very hard because it's very hard to organize a lot of people to side with one side or the other. There's pros and cons to each side. I try not to label myself as a Republican or Democrat, but I shouldn't say I'm a one issue voter. But there is one issue that if you are against this one issue, then you are against basically everything I stand for, essentially. And that is the Second Amendment. Like it's the Second Amendment, First Amendment. Those are two things that I'm very if you are trying to attack those in any way, then you are no friend of mine. And unfortunately, it's just kind of one of those things where one side has chosen to be pretty much universally anti-gun. I'd be hard pressed to find a single Democrat out there that is pro-gun anymore. I know Manchin and Sinema, Joe Manchin, I think, and Kristen Sinema, they are pro-gun, I guess. They got pretty good ratings from the NRA, I believe, but they're gone. They are retired. They left politics. They could tell that politics was seeping into their soul and turning them into, a monster. So they didn't want to do that no more. So they left, and they were pro-gun, and they were Democrats. So it's not impossible for Democrats to be pro-gun and change their ways a little bit. But as of right now, Democrats are pretty much universally anti-gun. So that means I have nowhere to go besides to the right, to vote Republican. And it is one thing that I will go. And if I find a Democrat that is pro-gun, by all means, I'll definitely look into that person and consider their positions on a lot of other things. But there is something that you have to have your morals and your grounding in a certain area. So it's if you don't have your morals and you're not grounded in, protecting our rights as Americans, then that's a non-negotiable. I'm not even going to consider your position as legitimate, no matter what you say. Everything you say about abortions or whatever. I don't know, foreign policy, whatever it is. You have ill intent in your heart, sir. You do. So if you are against Americans' rights, then you're against America, dude. So get out of here. I ain't about that. And unfortunately, that's just kind of one of those things with the Democrat Party right now, is that they are, unfortunately, against America, Americans' rights, our rights as Americans, all of this stuff. However, there is one thing that they are pretty decent on, and that is, I guess, supporting certain conservation movements and not being land grabbers. Like Republicans, they have their issues for sure. There's a lot of issues in the Republican Party, and I would love to address that. One thing I will say about the Republican Party too is if you have issues, if you have a person, a politician, a Republican that has issues, then you are allowed to talk about them. You can, talk about them and talk shit to them, and, try to get them to change, or you can try to vote them out. The Republican Party is not afraid to, kind of hash certain things out. And that's one thing I like about that. The Democrat Party is like, if you're not on board, if you're not at least pretty left, you have to be pretty far left to be accepted. So they're just really much more radical than Republicans, unfortunately. So it's just kind of one of those things. But Republicans, there's a lot more, a lot more insight in that party, it seems like. So that's that. That's all I'm going to talk about on that little piece. But the Democrats traditionally are pretty decent on conservation and like public lands and supporting that stuff. And Republicans are generally not so great with trying to sell off public land. And, as a hunter, that I do hunt quite a bit of public land. I don't like that. I don't like that at all about the Republican Party. Specifically, we'll just get into it. Specifically, Mike Lee from Utah. He's Republican senator from Utah. And this guy fucking sucks. So he is, he's the guy that is trying to sell off a lot of public land, especially in Utah. Like, he's the chair of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee, I believe, something like that. Senate energy guy, big energy guy. So he's got a lot of power in politics. He's got a lot of power there, especially when it comes to, Trump being drill baby drill and trying to get our energy resources back up to snuff so we can have cheaper gas and cheaper, utilities and all that stuff. He put Mike Lee, or they put whoever, I don't even know who gets in charge of these committees. Somehow Senator Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, is the chair of the Energy Committee, essentially. And he provisioned in 2025, this last year, he had a provision in the budget bill trying to sell off like millions of acres of public land. Millions and millions. Tens of millions, some would say. Trying to sell off lots of federal public land. And I think 18 million or so of it, right around 18 million of it in Utah. So that's not good. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's a lot of land. 18 million acres in Utah he's trying to sell off, plus however many millions more in other states. I can't remember the exact stats on that. But yeah, Mike Lee, like, he's a douche, and he's done this multiple times. He's tried to sell off public lands for like quite a bit. I don't know if I should look into more of Mike Lee, I guess, just so I know, but he must have some very powerful friends in like real estate or some shit that wants to turn Utah into a giant ski resort. I don't know what it is, but he has to have some backing somewhere that really wants this public land, and we can't let that happen. That is one thing that like organizations like BHA get right, is that they are very, very good at organizing and protecting public lands, which is great. And we need to do that. That needs to be like preserved. First, that's why Theodore Roosevelt, way back in the day, realized like, market hunting not great. We should stop that because we're killing all the animals. And land is like getting pretty sparse around here. Maybe we should protect some of this stuff so we have something to hunt and recreate on. So that's what they did. Started saving land for public use, which is amazing, and then started saving the animals so we can hunt them and have hunting seasons and actually manage the resource and the numbers, the populations of these animals, which is our job. If you're a Christian, then you have to believe that, we are stewards of the earth, and that is our job here on earth, is to take care of this fucking thing and take care of the animals too, but that means killing them sometimes. It means you have to kill them. That's what us hunters do. We do the dirty work and keep the populations in control and in check. And, everyone else just gets to reap the rewards. But you also have something for the granola hikers, which BHA is also really good about getting around, is getting these granola hikers to, support, be active. So more numbers to fight the Mike Lees in Congress right there, So that's another thing they're really good at. But the one thing that really bothers me about this whole thing is that I was, how do I want to start this? I'm just going to keep going on Mike Lee for just a second or two more. Basically, I'll get to what I was going to segue into, but I need to finish up Mike Lee. So he's a cunt, and he needs to be voted out. That's what it boils down to. People in Utah, you need to primary this guy. You need to primary him. I know he's got some powerful friends, but you need to get out there and try to primary that guy. And before people start voting Democrat, and you get a Democrat in office. So that's one thing about the Republican Party we can do. We can primary our own that aren't working within our interests anymore. The Democrat Party really does not like doing that. But we do. It's fine. But Mike Lee, he's got to go. He's got to get it figured out. He's a big black stain on the Republican Party. He needs to get out of there, and people need to primary him in Utah. But you need to primary him with a person that is pro-America. And Senator Mike Lee is not. I would say he's also not pro-America, because he's trying to sell our fucking land off and give it to his buddies. So that's not good. Anyways, moving on. And also Mike Lee, he's not the only one. There's a couple other ones. I think in my research on this one, Representative Mark Amodei, however you say that stupid name, and Representative Celeste Malloy. Malloy is also from Utah, and Amodei, Mark, is from Nevada. So they've both been they both tried to sell off some land before here and there, but we're talking like thousands of acres there, no big deal. Mike Lee's the worst. He's tried to sell millions and millions of acres of public land, so he's definitely the most egregious land grabber in the Republican Party. So, we need to get him out of there. We need to protect, our own here too, which is America and, American citizens. So we need to make sure we're doing our job. This is one thing, the promise of American freedom, it does come at a price. It comes at a price with, being Veterans Day and stuff too. It comes at a price of blood and sweat and tears. But yeah, blood, specifically like wars. We have to fight wars with people that want to, that don't appreciate our way of life. So that veterans have a lot to do with that on that aspect. But as American citizens, every single person in America has a duty to know what is going on at least, and do your job at the voting booth too. Get out there, vote, and try to keep politicians from screwing us over. So it comes with a responsibility. Being American, having this freedom, it doesn't mean you're free of responsibility. It means you actually have more responsibility. And the less responsible we are as citizens, the more authoritarian the government feels like they need to be. I mean, we see that with tobacco. Raise the tobacco age to fucking 21. What did they think, like, people aren't old enough to make decisions about tobacco use until they're 21 now. It was 18, now it's 21. Okay, so they keep moving the goalposts of maturity back, right? It wasn't that long ago. Like my grandpa, he graduated from high school at the age of like 13, I think. It's like people matured a lot faster back then, probably because they had to, because life was harder. But people matured a lot faster back then. And right now, like they're moving the goalposts here. They're like, oh yeah, you're not an adult until you're 21 now, but you still join the military at 18. But you can't smoke a cigarette or chew tobacco when you're in the fucking army. You're overseas fighting, and you can't even throw a dip in legally. That's crazy. But what I'm trying to get at is they keep moving the goalposts back, and at your age of maturity. So Oh, where was I going with that rant? I don't know. I lost it. But anyways, we have a responsibility. We have freedom in America. We can't squander it, and we do have a responsibility to protect it as well as citizens. So there's that. Let's get back into the main topic of this episode. So basically, what boiled down to is that I came across a Field and Stream post a little while ago, right? That Field and Stream post is talking about it's talking about the sell-off, the land sell-off, right? Talking about Mike Lee proposing another bill to try to sell off some more land, I guess. So we'll just go ahead and read through this real quick. Field and Stream. We spoke with Backcountry Hunters and Anglers' new CEO, Ryan Callahan. There's another new one there. Land Tawny's out. I think he left to start a new organization or be a part of a new organization. And now Ryan Callahan from Meat Eater is in. So talked to new CEO Ryan Callahan about his priorities for the organization. Callahan, formerly BHA's North American board chair, has been involved with the group for nearly 15 years. I went to my first BHA meeting in the winter of 2009 in Missoula, Montana, he recalls. One topic was a movement to rewrite or rescind the Wilderness Act of 1964. That bill was pushed by politicians who claimed wilderness areas lack value because they are hard to access. I knew how false that was because I was guiding in the wilderness areas at the time, Callahan says. By the end of these 10-day trips, every client would have built a monument to public lands because they were having life-changing experiences. About BHA and Callahan. BHA is whatever. So they're talking. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about Callahan getting in there, being the new CEO and stuff, and he's got a bunch of other things to say about shit in here, about public land sell-off, Mike Lee being a douche, and all that good stuff, which I don't disagree with. That's fine. I'm all for protecting public lands, but not at the cost of our rights either. That's one thing. And the biggest thing is not what Callahan said or Field and Stream said or BHA is about, even though I have my doubts about BHA and Meat Eater together, unfortunately. Like, it's just one of those things. I know Steve Rinella is a very, a great voice for hunters and all that stuff, and anglers and outdoorsmen, period. But I don't know what it is. Something is just not passing the sniff test. Like, I don't know if it's Steve's sly tongue, if he's just too sly, or it's BHA's, you are the company you keep. And BHA's company that they keep, unfortunately, seems to be pretty fucking left. Like, they're all a bunch of Democrats dressed up in camo, which seems weird to me. I don't know. I always grew up thinking, like, the majority of hunters, and these are the people that I've met too, like, the majority of them are, red-blooded Americans. Some of them were Democrats when I was a kid. Some of them were Democrats, and that's fine. But the Democrat Party has changed so much, guys. Like, that's what's crazy about it. They have changed so much. So it's really hard to even, like, think back about what Democrats used to be like. We used to have pro-gun Democrats. Now we don't. I don't think really anywhere. So real sad to see it. Hate to see it. Anyways, but there's something going on with Meat Eater and BHA, and I just don't know what it is. It's part of Steve Rinella's, like, sly tongue and his just seemingly untrustworthy to me. And Callahan, I've always had my thoughts on Callahan. For some reason, I just have a feeling, and this has nothing to do with anything, honestly, but I think he's gay, but that's just me. Weird stuff. And BHA, being the company you keep kind of thing, you watch some videos from their pint nights, and they're just, like, really weird. You have a bunch of people in there, like, with, like, multicolored hair kind of thing, those kinds of people. And this is coming from a guy that in high school I had a red mohawk. Like, I had multicolored hair too, but that was back when it was cool. Not, but now if I did that, then I'd be mistaken for a lesbian or something. It's like, that's ugh. What are we doing here, guys? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with lesbians, but I'm a dude. But they'd be like, oh, look at this trans woman. such a strong trans woman. I'm like, I'm 6'2" and 250 pounds. But they'll mistake me for being that side of things, and that's not cool. So I just can't dye my hair anymore. It is what it is. Oh well. I'm also 34. Shouldn't be doing that dumb shit anyways. Anywho. But yeah, BHA. I never had a good feeling about that group for some reason. They are supposedly pro Second Amendment. I seen a statement from them a while back when I was doing research more deeply into the green decoy thing. And BHA says they're pro 2A. So like, I don't know. They haven't done anything anti 2A. So I don't know that they're a green decoy, but there's something there. There's something there I can't put my finger on between Meat Eater and BHA, and I don't like it. Maybe it's the fact that Steve Rinella took Peter Chernin money to expand his outdoor empire with Meat Eater and buy First Light and FHF gear and all sorts of different shit, and expand into different realms with his company. I do like him. I do like that he brought a lot of new people into, respecting the outdoors. I do like that. I really like that. That's great. But there's something going on there that's nefarious, I feel like, and I just don't know what it is. I wish I knew, but there's something there. I just can't. They're just not. They're being slick. They're being real slick kids about it. Real slick people. Really doing a good job hiding their ulterior motives, but not good enough because I can smell it. Anyways, what bothered me about this post from Field and Stream is that I went into the comments, and holy fucking shit, it got weird in there. Like, I'm just gonna read some of them off, and you guys can make your own decisions. Basically, I read some. Let me just read some of them. So like, let me get a good one here real quick. Oh yeah, here's one. Stop voting for the party/people that consistently try to take away public lands. All right, War Britain, dude. Like, yeah, all right, we could do that. Let's say we stop voting for Republicans. Then we don't. It's like then we have some like, crazy far left Democrat in office and Mike Lee's spot. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way. We need to change the Republican Party, sure. But to just say, like, switch parties because of fucking a public lands issue, that's retarded, and you're stupid. So there's that. I didn't like that. Here's the problem with bringing together people across the political spectrum. Wow. Okay, what's the problem there? People are generally pretty open to working together. Politicians are not. Correct. You are right so far. We can sit here and scream and protest all we want, but if the people in the chairs don't want to listen, they won't. You're right. We need BHA to start putting out politician ratings individually, scoring each one based on how they voted and what they supported during the legislative process, specifically on the outdoor issues. Okay, that's cool. I like that. The NRA does that for pro-gun, like for gun rights. So yeah, that's great. That sounds like a good idea. Then we the people can decide if those folks should remain in office. The only way through this is through elections, and I got a feeling there ain't going to be too many R's making it through midterms. I don't like that. I don't like that mainly because like the Democrat Party has gotten so crazy, like I already talked about. So yeah, all right, for the most part, not wrong. For the last part, why do you have that feeling? Like, is that like I don't know. Here's another one. It's because they are always scared to vote red over gun regulations. There are many pro-gun Democrats that will protect both gun rights and conservation. Where are these pro-gun Democrats? Where the fuck are they? Where is this unicorn of a person at that's a pro-gun Democrat and a public lands advocate? Where's this powerhouse at? Where's this politician powerhouse at? Scott, where's that? Fucking show me, dude. Like they're not in office, so if they are out there, they're obviously not winning elections, dumbass. So I don't know where are they at? Show them to me. Like they're not here. They're gone. They are gone, blown in the wind, canceled out of the Democrat Party. Some would say because they're If you're pro-life and pro-gun, then you're fucked in the Democrat Party. You're not welcome there. So show me where this gun-toting, red-blooded American Democrat is, and I would love to change my opinion. But as of right now, you are wrong, bud. You are just dead wrong. Dead wrong. Here's no one: stop voting against your own interests, then complaining after the inevitable happens. This isn't hard. You're right. It isn't hard. But it isn't hard to comprehend, but it's hard to fix. Whoever you are, it's hard to fix, dude. Stop voting against your own interests. You're right. That's why people vote Republican. Are you fucking stupid? That's exactly why people vote Republican, because they're trying to not vote against their own interests. Because there's more of our own interests that are trying to be preserved by the Republican Party than there is the Democrat Party. So shut the fuck up. Basically, that's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down. I'm not going to bore you with it anymore. There's hundreds of these types of comments on that post. So if you guys want to, just go find that post, I guess, from Field and Stream and read into it. But that's what bothered me. Like the content of that post didn't bother me by Field and Stream. What bothered me is I get in the comments, which the comments is all of us. Think about this: like whoever's doing the posting is like the politician or something, right? But we the people are in the comments. We the people are in the comments talking about this. So that's really where you get a good idea of where people are at. So you got to get in the comments and read what we are saying. And from Field and Stream's point of view right now, it ain't good. Like nothing about those comments were really good. There's a couple that were like, all right, Cal, good job, buddy. Great, good luck out there. Stick it to them. That kind of stuff. But for a lot of them, we're just like, stop voting Republican. Stop voting against your own interests. Stop voting for this person. Stop voting for Republicans here. And it's like, and I posted something about like, oh yeah, so we're going to have some psycho fucking anti-gun Democrat coming in office. And I had like, half a dozen comments about like, oh, they're not going to take your guns. No, yeah, maybe they should take our guns because of crime rates and stuff like that. All the dumb anti-gun talking points that were in the Field and Stream. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, what are we doing? And that's what is bothering me about because whenever the BHA subject comes up, you get flooded with these libs, and they are, I don't know if they're actually in the organization or not, but they're definitely around it. They're within the gravitational pull of BHA. So it's one of those things where it's got to be looked at. BHAs, we got to keep an eye on them and see what's up with that. But yeah, that's what bothers me. That's the one thing I want to talk about too, because they're, as of right now, just so we have some stats to go off of, there's 80 to 107 million gun owners in America. I looked this stuff up last night, by the way. So between 80 and 107 million gun owners in America. 14.4 million hunters in America. There are 340 million Americans in America. So that's a lot of gun owners, and that's also quite a few hunters. But what bothers me is that we used to be on the same team here. When I was a kid growing up, it used to be one and the same, essentially, like hunters and hunters with Pro 2A. We're all together on the same team. And it seems like there are forces at work that are outside of my control that are trying to cause a schism between the two. And I don't know who it is. Maybe it's Peter Chernin himself. I don't fucking know. Maybe he just wants to make money. Either way, there are forces at work that are trying to cause a schism between the outdoors community and the gun community. And there's a lot of us, guys. There are a lot of us. If you add, a lot of these 14.4 million hunters are probably gun owners too. Let's just be conservative. Let's just go ahead and say 107 million of us. That's a lot of people. That's a huge voting base of people. And sorry about that. But let's just say conservatively, there's 107 million gun owners and hunters, right? I know there's some bow hunters out there that don't have guns. There's some felons out there that bow hunt and can't own guns. But there's a lot of gun-toting Americans, which is amazing. I love it. Love to see it. Also amazing that there's not more, out of 107 million people, there's not more gun owners committing. If guns are the problem, crime should be out the fucking wazoo. But it's really not that bad comparatively speaking. If guns are the problem. But what it boils down to is that we used to be together on this issue, I feel like, and now they're trying to cause a schism. I feel like the Democrats are trying to garner 14.4 million more votes by being pro-public land. And when you have conservation groups like BHA, TRCP, all those that are very, very much focused on the conservation, they're willing to talk, cross-party, which is fine. You have to be able to work with the other side to a certain extent, but not at the downfall of your morals and in protecting. It's all of our. What I'm trying to get at, it's not just the politicians that we vote in office. It's all of our responsibility to keep America, all of us, and that includes these conservation groups. I've talked to people from like the supporters of BHA and stuff. Like, why aren't you guys more staunchly pro 2A? Why aren't you more staunchly pro 2A? And it's like, well, because we're a conservation group. Like, dude, you're American. What are you doing? Like, you have an obligation and a duty to speak on this subject, and you have a lot of people, a lot of members. So you have an obligation to do this, bud. Anyways, that's a big thing. I don't like it. I don't like where it's going. And what it boils down to is that there's a lot of anti-gun Democrats. There's a lot. I mean, you have Joe Biden, Dianne Feinstein. I know she's dead, but she authored the 1994 assault weapons ban. That's what's getting me about this whole thing is like what BHA and Land Tawney, is his new organization, AHA, American Hunters and Anglers. I did look at his thing, American Hunters and Anglers, right on their website, issues that they support. They say they're pro 2A on there, right on the website, right in the About Me. So that's good to see. Really good, especially Land Tawney's background and his dad being, the chair of the Montana Democrat Party, and starting Montana Hunters Anglers, then Land turned into BHA. That's where it all came from. Like, so he comes from a Democrat background, but I'm thinking that his Democrat background is back before the Democrat Party turned into what they are today. And I'm hoping that's the case. Anywho, it says on their website that they are pro 2A, so that's good to see. But how pro 2A? How pro 2A are you? Like, if a Dianne Feinstein got back into office, is like, let's author this renew the 1994 assault weapons ban, and would BHA, AHA, TRCP, and all these other organizations be like, oh no, we probably shouldn't do that? Or would they be like, you don't need an assault weapon in order to hunt, so it's not our issue, and either be silent on it or maybe even support it to a certain extent? Where maybe they talk to this Dianne Feinstein character and she's like, oh, I'll save you. I'll put a provision in there for your public lands to save them if you support this assault weapons ban. Then you have organization groups like AHA, BHA, and TRCP going out there and being like, we don't need them, guys. Talking a bunch of dumb shit. And would they be supportive of that bill, or would they be against it? That's my question on these people. How pro 2A are you? Are you kinda, or are you a lotta? I don't know. They're vague. Meat eater. How pro 2A is Steve Rinella? A lotta or a little? Is he kinda? Is he like, well, bolt action 30-06 shouldn't be banned, but fully semi-automatic 100 magazine clip AR assault weapon, those should be banned. Is he one of those guys? Like, we're not trying to take your guns. We're just trying to take some of your guns. We don't want you to. Well, I am pro 2A. I just don't think weapons of war should be on the street. Like, what are we talking here? Where are they in the pro? And that's the other thing. I don't expect people to be as pro 2A as me. But I do expect people to be pro 2A in the fact that we're like, enough is enough. Like, we've had enough infringements on our Second Amendment rights that enough is enough. No, not one more inch. That is ultimately my stance. Not one more fucking inch. That's the stance that I do expect people to be. Especially people like me and BHA, AHA, and TRSP. I expect you people to be more, not one more fucking inch on this issue. But are you willing to give up an inch or a foot or a mile? How much are you willing to give up in order to protect public lands? How much? So that's the questions that need answered, and they're not willing to give them. It doesn't seem like they're willing to give those answers. I think it's because they know that they have a lot of, blue-haired lesbians in their pint nights. I think maybe there is something with Callahan and Mediator and Steve Ranella. Maybe there is ulterior motives. Maybe they are actually actively trying to get this stuff pushed through eventually, and maybe they are like kind of, Democrats in camo. Or maybe they're just opportunists. Maybe Steve Ranella is just a ego-driven, greedy bastard that wants to advance his company and his name as much as possible. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe maybe I have this all wrong, and he actually is super. Maybe he's pro 2A, maybe he's pro. He just loves hunting that much, where he just wants to, push this thing forward more and more and more. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the ulterior motives are, but there's got to be something there, I feel like. And also, one thing that these conservation groups need to realize, as far as like BHA, AHA, and TRCP and all of them, and trout, whatever the trout one is too, you guys got to realize that you talk about Pittman-Robertson Act like it's like God's gift to outdoorsmen, which I'm not going to lie, it's like it's done a lot. That 11% excise tax on outdoor equipment, it's done a lot. But guess what? Well over 90%, well over, I'd say 90 plus percent of that money came from guns and ammo sales, bud. The vast majority of it. So you like Pittman-Robertson Act. You like the Pittman-Robertson money. You like that P&R money. You like it. You like it a lot. You want more of it. You start going anti-2A, then you're going to lose a lot of that. So what the fuck are you going to do then, dude? What are you going to do then? I've never heard. I lied. One guy tried getting the Rifle Act passed and trying to rescind the P&R. I didn't really like that. I don't like taxes, but I just haven't fully fleshed out my thoughts on getting rid of P&R. I think we'd have to figure out a way to replace P&R money with something else. And I think he did. Andrew Clyde, I believe his name. I think he did have an idea of what to do next and how to replace that money. But I can't remember it off the top of my head. But if there's a plan to replace it, then I don't know. Maybe I would be for it. I don't know. All I know is that a taxed right isn't really a right. So how much should we be taxing guns and ammo? If healthcare is a right and people want it for free, then guns are a right, and we should get those for free too. That's kind of where I'm at. But what I'm getting at is, a lot of the money, the vast majority of the P&R money goes to comes from guns and ammo sales. So conservationists, I haven't seen they need to check themselves a little bit here. I think we have a lot of granola hikers infiltrating these comments, I feel like, and there's not a lot of people giving them enough pushback in the comments. So our job is to push them back and keep, like, this is the whole, like, a big thing with Victory Drive is trying to bring the 2A community and the hunting community together. That's one of my main goals. And so we need to fight them. We need to fight them tooth and nail, not fist fight them, not, none of that, not that kind of stuff, not violently. We need to fight them in the comment section and all that stuff. We need to change the culture of hunting and angling, especially angling. I feel like fly fishermen have infiltrated the angling community and turned them all gay. And weird stuff from fly fishermen. Hate to see it, but it is there. So, but yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much all I wanted to go after. I saw this like I said, I saw this post and I saw the comments, and it angered me to an extent, and I was really going to start going after BHA. Like, these guys are a bunch of fuck faggots, and we need to get rid of them. Get BHA out of here. But I decided to sit down and think about it some more, and maybe go be a little bit softer, because I don't know, guys, if there actually is something there with Meat Eater and BHA. I just feel like there is. There's a feeling, a gut feeling, and I can't ignore that gut feeling. I can't do it. So I don't know. That's about that. That's pretty much about it. I don't know. Maybe I should probably do more of these. They are kind of fun, and I get to really voice my thoughts on a lot of this stuff. And maybe it'll be a Patreon thing. I don't know. But what it boils down to, guys, is that public lands rule. I love them. I hunt on them every fucking year. They need to be protected, but not at the cost of making deals with the devil and having our rights rescinded just to save some public land. We need to fight tooth and nail for it, but we can't rob Peter to pay Paul. So that's my thoughts on this whole thing. Maybe maybe it's wrong. I don't know. It's not wrong because it's an opinion, asshole. So don't say I'm wrong if it's an opinion. That's one thing the internet likes to do, is say you're wrong for an opinion you have, which is fine. Like, there are wrong opinions, but it's not like inherently wrong. It's just, our opinions differ, which is fine. But I want more people to have the same opinion, because I want to preserve our public lands, and I also want to preserve our rights as Americans. I don't think that's too crazy. That's not super radical. That's not a Nazi fucking alt-right fucking viewpoint, I don't think. So that's pretty much about it. I don't know. I'm going to quit rambling. You guys have listened to me long enough. So hopefully everyone out there is having a safe hunting season. And, just stay vigilant. Keep an eye out on these snakes, snake in the grass. So be careful. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Really do appreciate you. Bye.